love the names on this team. They have Sixto Sanchez, and they have my favorite name probably in baseball right now, Jazz Chisholm.
Showing emotion in baseball is terrible and should never be in the game.
It's weird how the dynamic works between sports.
But to win a championship, not only do you need great players on the court, but you need good chemistry, which takes time to develop.
Justin Fields is a all-time talent.
Corey Perry will give some veteran presence to the Canadians.
I feel like Luka will take that next step, and if he can get a three ball consistently around 35%, I feel like they could become a contender.
We can make jokes about you not being in the Super Bowl for 20-something years, but...
What's up, everyone? This is Justin Goldman from the Goalie Guild and Lift the Mask, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NHL Opinions of the Week, second one for this, but we kind of split up the wildcard races. A few days ago, yesterday, I think we posted a few days ago the NHL Eastern wildcard races. We're doing in, out, maybe, and we're talking about the West this time. We're going from the top since it's so close. There's no great team like in the East with the Bruins, and just totally out destroying everyone. So we're going from 1 to, let's say, 5, or how many? We're doing 10 teams, Austin.
It's 11 teams because we added St. Louis late. But the top 11 teams in the West, I think, all have some kind of chance. So we're going to include them. That this is 3 more teams than on the other one. But we just felt like the other one was really a wild card predictor. This is more of a playoff predictor and out maybe. Because we didn't want to give ourselves free points for choosing Boston, who now has 95 points at the time of this recording and could probably lose the entirety of the rest of the season and make the playoffs still. So us saying in is it's way too easy. Now for some of these they are really easy, and I expect a lot more ins and outs on this one. But there has to be 8 teams in, so I mean we may have 8 ins and 3 outs, or we may have a lot of maybes. But let's start off with the easiest one in my opinion.
One thing, I forgot to add this. Once again, that was the man on your screen, the full-time self-believing preacher, side sports podcaster.
Yes, so that is a big part of my my brand. But we'll start it off with Vegas. I have Vegas as in. They have the most points in the West right now, but the Stars just did get a huge win against them. So there's a couple of teams fighting for that top spot in the West, but right now it is Vegas, and I think that they are certainly in.
Yeah, I would agree. Vegas is in as well, and it's a team. The Stars win over them came in overtime and shootouts, which the Stars have not been doing well in.
That is true. It was a tough game, but now on to Dallas. I also have them as in. I mean, they're still, all these teams could fall out if they just lose a lot of games in a row, but I don't think Dallas will do that. They did have a little bit of a slump there, but a huge win against Vegas last night, which at least at the time of this recording last night was huge for their playoff or at least 1 seed push.
Yeah, I think Stars had such a great surge at the beginning. I know they've gone through a little bit of a slump, but they still were able to get overtime wins, or go into overtime, so they got points. So yeah, I have them in as well.
Next is LA. What do you have them?
LA, I have as in.
I agree.
They just look really good, and they seem pretty at the top of their division, or they're second to Vegas.
Yeah, I think that's another easy one. And I think another easy one right here, Minnesota, I also have is in.
Same thing. I have them in as well. I'd be shocked if they fall out. They have such a great lineup with Kaprizov.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Next, Colorado.
I have them in as in. I don't think they're as high in the standings because they've dealt with a lot of injuries. Is Makar? He's dealt with the concussion, correct?
Yeah, a little bit. I think they'll be able to stomach that injury, though, and I also have them as in. I don't think they're going to struggle all that much.
Yeah, pretty quick at the top. Now we get to Edmonton.
Yes.
I have them as in.
I agree. I think McDavid and Draisaitl will carry them enough for them to get in, and they have better goaltending now this year. And I think that they are a scary team, a team I would want to face in the playoffs, but they're not really dominant. So they're another team that could fall out, but I have them as in.
Now we get into the actual wild card. We have Winnipeg here. I'm going to have them as in.
I also have them as in. So right now, there's only one more spot left for any of these teams that are currently out, or even Seattle. So we have the top 7 all as in, which may not be that. I mean, it's a little bit of a risk because it's -1 points. I'm sorry I didn't explain this earlier. Watch the East video for better explanation. But +1 point if you're right about being in or out. You get 0 points for maybe. But if you get in or out wrong, whatever one you say, it's a -1 point. So there is a level of risk there for saying in when they're out or out when they're in.
And we're currently agreed, so we're not really risking it. We're currently tied. But I think at the second one, I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to call Seattle as a maybe.
I have Seattle as in, which we can go
Oh.
into the next 3 really quickly, for at least for me, where you go into the rest. Calgary, Nashville, St. Louis, I all have as out. Only 8 teams make the playoffs. I have 8 ins, 3 outs. I'm playing it risky. I could get 11 points here. If I am right, I get 11 points. But here's the thing. If I miss 1, I really miss 2. Why is that? Because if I have one of those teams has to make it in, unless somehow Vancouver or another team makes a huge run. If I'm wrong on Seattle, I have to be wrong on either Calgary, Nashville, or St. Louis, most likely. So I would lose 2 points there. But I am playing a little bit risky, and I'd love to hear what other teams you have as maybe.
So my other team that's maybe is Calgary. I'm just not sure. I think they could make a push, or Seattle could fall out of it. That's my maybe. Quickly, I'm going to go Nashville out and St. Louis is out. I'm pretty confident in St. Louis being out because they've just been making trades, really building for the future, it looks like.
Okay. So it really comes down to, does Seattle make it? If Seattle does not make it, I think that'll give you the win. But if that does not happen, if Calgary does not make it in, you need Calgary to make it in. Because if Calgary makes it in, you don't lose points while I lose 2 points.
Yes, I think if Calgary makes it,
You win.
in any capacity,
You win.
it's a huge points for me. I don't know if I win
because if Winnipeg falls out and Seattle and Calgary make it, we both lose. Actually,
I think
I'll have to do the math post video. I'll have to do the math post video.
Yeah, I think you will lose one more point more than me.
But I'll gain one more point because I have Seattle in. So if Seattle goes in and Winnipeg falls out, but Calgary goes in, I lose 1 point from Calgary, but I gain a point from Seattle making it. So I think we would tie. So Calgary has to be in over Seattle for you to win.
Okay. Calgary and Seattle are big teams in this.
It's really what makes the difference. If Seattle makes it and everything else stays the same, or no, if Calgary makes it and everything else stays the same, I win. If Calgary makes it and everything else stays the same, you win. If Seattle and Calgary make it in any form or fashion, both teams make it, we tie.
Okay.
So
I thought we were combining this with the East.
We are.
Oh, okay.
But to win the West.
Win the West, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, we were pretty close, but then we differed slightly. I'm very intrigued.
I'm glad we made some change, because if we had agreed on everything, it would have been...
Yeah, that would have been lame. But I'm glad. Because I took it risky last episode. You took it risky this episode.
It works out.
We'll see. So Calgary is a team that made a lot of trades off season, made some signings, and we'll see how that works out for them.
And Seattle, a team that was their first year last year, could make their first playoff appearance. It's going to come down to the wire.
Yes, it's going to be really exciting, and we'll keep you updated throughout that. Make sure to check out our Instagram, _podcast20, and our Twitter, _podcast. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.